being there for Canadians. He's taking money out of their pockets. And if you don't believe me, listen to the Governor of the Bank of Canada, who said, and I quote, "Today, government spending will be adding to demand more than supply is growing. And in an environment where we are trying to moderate spending and get inflation down, that is not helpful." That adds to the voices of the former Liberal Finance Minister John Manley, who accused this Prime Minister of pressing on the inflationary gas pedal. Will the Prime Minister tell us, does he agree with the Bank Governor that his government spending is not helpful on inflation?
Mr. Speaker, Canadians know we need support and we need more supply on the housing crisis, and that's why we are there investing with municipalities to deliver more housing. In Brampton, our housing agreement will spur the construction of more than 24,000 homes over the next decade. That's an investment that the Leader of the Opposition would cut. In other cities like Richmond Hill, Moncton and Ajax just this week are passing more ambitious housing plans at their local councils in response to the federal housing accelerator. While the Leader of the Opposition would rip up these agreements, we're focused on building solutions that'll work for communities right across the country.
The question wasn't about his housing photo ops. The question was about the rate of inflation and its link to government spending. And I quote the Governor of the Bank of Canada on this point today, and I quote, "Government spending will be adding to demand more than supply is growing. And in an environment where we are trying to moderate spending and get inflation down, that is not helpful." Right. He's now clearly saying that government spending is driving up inflation. So very simple question. Does the Prime Minister agree with the Bank Governor that deficits are driving inflation? Yes or no?
Except, Mr. Speaker, that inflation is steadily coming down, Mr. Speaker, even as we continue to sign agreements with communities across the country. And by the way, if the opposition leader cared so much about getting more homes built, he would support our Affordable Housing and Groceries Act. This legislation will remove the GST on the construction of rental homes, which housing advocates and developers have described as a game changer. That's the relief that Canadians need. So let's keep moving these important measures forward, and let's keep getting Canadians the housing relief they need instead of political attacks and cuts from the Conservatives.
He's very determined to avoid discussing the growing evidence of the link between his deficits and the inflation Canadians pay. So let's review what the Bank Governor said today. He said, 1, inflation risks are rising. 2, that inflation won't get back to target until the year 2025, 2 years out. And 3, the bank is now leaving its door open to further rate hikes, probably spurred on by the deficits of this government. With mortgage payments up 150%, for God's sakes, won't he get rid of these inflationary deficits so that Canadians can keep their homes?